Me too. Okay. Should I stop talking about what you're telling me?
You should be getting that.
Okay, Jen.
Also too, like, if we were, I know that people are asking for sponsorship now, but if we want to find more sponsors, or I don't, like, they don't celebrate Holi all over India. Only Hindu, people do, so I didn't know if maybe we're not knocking on the right doors.
So I will be honest with you, because of the fantastic press that it gets,
Yeah.
that's why this is one concept.
Oh, okay.
It's a huge demonstration for inclusivity. It's a fantastic, way to market to a more diverse audience, on a bigger scale, right? With the HGH and newspapers being there was a lot of good coverage. So that is really what attracts sponsors.
Okay, I was just thinking more so like, because you were thinking about, or there was discussion before about someone taking over the festival, that, maybe, if we went to an Indian community center, they might not be interested because they're maybe not that part of, it's a big diverse country, so.
The downtown is the draw. I will be
Okay.
honest with you. So committee partners want to keep partnering with us.
Okay.
Because we've got that relationship with them. Folk Arts has wanted to try to take, on more responsibility, which we were willing to kind of say, sure, we're just happy it's happening. And, even if Folk Arts does take over, it will still be in the downtown vicinity. But they couldn't get funding for this year, so we're able to, they still on our committee and still took a bit of a leadership role. But we took the predominant leadership role for sure. So there's always a discussion around, so full disclosure, this year, we do paint it in the parking lot because it's easier to maintain and it's almost built for it because it's downhill with drain at the bottom. So it's perfect, but it's a private parking lot. We had 2 cars in that parking lot, so it would not be. And we could not get them towed because it's private parking lot. And the parking lot, owners are fantastic. They give us the parking lot for free for the past 3 years. They're wonderful to work with. The manager was on site. We've got a great relationship with him. He was so apologetic. He did his best to contact all of the monthly permit holders whose cars were there, but just couldn't get a hold of them. But it was a challenge, right? Because then we had to cordon off around the cars. We were worried constantly about if something happens. So it is a challenge. So I don't know, there may be discussion, we're gonna regroup obviously as the committee after this event to talk about what worked, what didn't work, that kind of stuff. So definitely things to brainstorm for the next year.
With the city parking, like behind our store, would that work? Would being that it's big or is it definitely like downhill?
Yeah, it could be.
The city can kind of control that.
It's a very big area, right? So what we find is important. So the parking lot that we have, you can see it afterwards, but it's right out here. So it's kind of got 2 big walls, so to speak, either side of it. We literally just put a fence in the front. We have the man in and out to make sure it's very well organized and safe. So there's only one entry and exit without much fencing on our side. And like I said, the drain is literally, the water just runs down. There's a lot of water that goes, right? Those fire hoses are going. So that is logistically what we need.
Wonderful, so fantastic. Any updates for us for the block party? We don't really need to move too much yet.
Not yet. So the block party I will share. So I included hopefully in everybody's package, you have a copy of the sponsorship options for block parties. So this is what I would love everybody's help with, is helping us get those sponsors. So it is literally like a month away, which is quite scary because we literally recovered from one. Then I had the wrong one.
That's okay.
So we will get, this one works, so we will get you a prettier one that can't be prettier. So my bad, I printed the wrong one. But yeah, so these options are still there. Obviously, we have our presenting funds already, so the fact that you're in a row, gave them a lot. We're literally again knocking on our door to be that sponsor, which is fantastic. But we are always looking for more. So if you know anybody that would be a good partner, this year we have 2 stages. We were initially looking to reduce the size of the block party because we were down our events manager. Really excited to say that we do have an event manager who is knocking it out of the park. Her name is Jennifer Blackledge. She came from Great Wine.
It's a job.
That's awesome.
So she basically came to us and said, like, you can't just do it in the East End, it's gonna look really blah. Let's keep kind of that original footprint, so we're gonna go, still from the East End, obviously, so right here on St. Paul Street between Bond and Court. And then St. Paul Street between Carlisle and Queen, and James Street between King and St. Paul. So we still got that main kind of footprint included, which I think will really enhance the event.
Because what did we miss by the we're just gonna do down Jimmy Street.
We initially, I was trying to push back to just the events, because we didn't have an event manager, and I was worried.
Yeah.
But Jennifer she's just hit the ground running, so she really, they have everything we're doing, so, yeah.
Jen?
Speaking of Grape and Wine, I know I asked the office if we'd heard from them, which was no, but we're not doing, did they take over our,
Party?
Yes.
No, so another quick update on that one. So the Great Wine after party that usually would happen on James Street after the parade. We're actually in conversation with that committee to reinvigorate the committee, so to speak, and move it to Market Square. But we will probably be taking a little bit of a leadership role there too. There's no budget line item associated with that one, unfortunately, so again, we will be looking for sponsors, but the committee will also be taking a bit of an active role on that one as well.
With Jennifer having worked with Grape and Wine, I mean, have we talked about talking to the wineries and everything else that actually employ a lot of these people and some of the people that own the land that they rent the grapes?
We did try that last year. We tried reaching out to the wineries with sponsorship, but to be honest with you, it's a bit of a fine line. They prefer to support Grape and Wine Festival. They think that's more their audience as opposed to our events. That's the challenge, but that's okay. We're looking at the other options, and I believe, one of those options could be the cities too, right? Because our event is very, again, kind of the foundation is inclusivity and diversity for that event and supporting the migrant farm workers and giving them an event they can celebrate and enjoy. So I think that there's other sponsors that are more focused on those initiatives that we could approach.
And a little bit of a question for us.
Yeah, so Bucker Fest, there was a great article in the paper about that, if anyone saw it, with the guy with 400 notes. You weren't able to see it, but I have the video of that board going up the nose. But that was the press release launch, so we held the technology recently. So yeah, this is being done by an outside partner, called Stone Productions, so it is really, we're kind of guiding them, to make sure it supports our members, obviously, but at the end of the day, they are taking leadership of this one.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Any other questions? Moving along. Who's going to make impact?
Mark, not too much. We're busy coming up with the event meetings. We've been doing a lot of features that are coming through with thanks to the support of our staff, Leah and Sarah. One thing I want to share was that with our campaign marketing, we typically will reach 150,000 with our full marketing campaign, and for Holy, we would want us to reach 750,000 people.
Holy.
Yeah. And when I was talking to people on the streets at the event, I met people who came to St. Patrick's because of the field that they saw, and they are block party, they love the downtown feel, there's this, a lot of our programming from bigger areas, considering the demographic as well, and they just fell in love with downtown St. Patrick's, so it was a really great way for us to bring in tourists.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a that's great to me, and otherwise, just to be now moving into block party. And yeah, sorry, my mind is like, I'm still buzzing from the
So with that in mind, if you're picking up people from Brampton,
yeah.
are there other events that could attract that demographic?
So that's what I have to practice, and they're looking to come back.
But I'm also thinking of cultural events.
Yeah, I did have one person suggest that we look at doing Nigerian and Afro Caribbean Nigerian fest.
Yes.
Bring on another great.
I love to.
Yeah, because you're trying, it's interesting you said that, attracting big suburban village to a small urban.
It's a great way to showcase.
Yes,
It's not a normal demographic and bringing other people. Growing.
That's great.
Yeah, and just having the groups, like I feel like I have a lot of people, I get into your roles, not my communities, that people say, there's something about at home. They can't believe that community is here, is done, like, we're included, like, it's just, it's so hard. And the reputation of our town is, very,
Great
That's a
job.
testament.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
So one question time, and we look at events, let's remember this. So it'll be great, it's certainly capturing more, getting an idea, I'm not sure that we can do it, of how many people actually come back for what.
Coming back, maybe challenging, but we did have a conversation around doing surveys at the end.
But the event itself has grown year.
Significant.
It's like weather, like if it's like a rainy day, with all right, just like anything that's outside. It's just, but if it's nice, it'll be super successful.
Absolutely.
Unless it's holy, it did rain at holy, but people doesn't matter.
That's interesting. It's for sure. Yeah, the people in Niagara, the lake will tell you, if it's raining in Toronto, the Saturday's dead, if it's sunny in Toronto, their Saturday is great.
I don't know how long this is something I've done to board, so please forgive me if this is off key. But I've also been doing a lot of networking and getting to know our Buffalo community and our Toronto community, Buffalo, the media.
Oh, that's great.
We're meeting a lot of people that have been outside of the country. And in addition to that, I think back a lot and believe the more people we reach and more surprised people are that St. Catharines has a downtown exists. Something that is coming up a lot is people are already meeting from the States to Toronto or vice versa, all of the times calls to whatever. They have no idea that we have such a huge downtown because the highway doesn't take you through it unless you're intentionally going on what it says. So I don't know what kind of thing you can do to catch people while they're on the highway, and most of that to consider.
Well, I know Charlotte has mentioned multiple times, especially with respect to advocacy, like maybe we can revisit the sign to come off the highway or the billboard that's on on Meridian or something.
There's been multiple, like signage.
Yeah.
Opportunities even in the entrances of downtown, highway, other buildings that have kind of said that, we can put the signs on them, digital stuff, but, the city has no appetite yet to, they've kind of considered a couple of things, a couple of highlights.
Well, I mean, maybe now that we, like, and this was something, 5 years ago, myself and Mike passed the previous board. The city wants metrics. They want KPIs. If you can't give it to them, they're not gonna make a decision on it. Like, now that was the whole idea of getting the metrics. And now that we actually have them because they're diligently collecting them, we can actually go to the city and say, hey, these are the metrics. Like, if these are the amount of people that are coming downtown because of the hard work that the downtown association is doing, I can't imagine how much just a sign, like, we don't even have a sign that says that this is our downtown on the highway. Like, we don't even have a sign, it'll tell you there's McDonald's there, but it won't tell you there's the downtown, so people don't even know that they're passing it.
Can we start something like, maybe we start looking at signage again? I know we've, over the years, we've kind of brought up different parts, but just, to kind of maybe draw that out and then, just highlight some signage, whether digital or not, something that is effectively gonna kind of move towards.
But if a Wendy's or McDonald's or Tim Hortons can pay to have a sign like that, maybe we can just pay to have a sign put on the bottom of that.
Advocacy needs to take us to
Yeah.
the city. And then we also need to look at cost of signage and city more than into the budget minister.
And we also have a better relationship with the city now.
So excellent, wonderful.
So the other, just a thought, the word downtown is the word what we use. But what I'm hearing from Kat is what is being captured and embraced is the look of downtown. We want a picture of St. Paul Street, not the words downtown.
Oh, that's great.
Maybe if you're driving through Farmland.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, you need a picture, you need to.
Yeah.
So that it's different.
We need to agree to pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody else to pay for it, then we can decide. Anything else, Pat?
No, and thank you for,
No, that's excellent. That's really helpful. I just started the law. Any questions on the executive committee? All right, update on financials. Do we have financials too?
I do have a couple of copies of the financials. Maybe you know, I printed the wrong one, so I wrote the wrong one. That's okay. I have one copy of the financials that I can share with anyone. But there really isn't too much to share. It was up to the end of May. I think most of the overages were previously talked about anyway. So there's some things where we've had, obviously 3 candidate summer students come through. So the increases are obviously going to be in payroll a little bit, but that will get paid back at the end of the summer. So that will look a little bit high during the summer, but again, will be reverted. I think other than that, there's not a ton to really report on financials. I think everything's kind of keeping in line with everything else.
Does anybody have any questions for that, and do you feel comfortable, asking to approve what?
All right, I think I can send it out as an attachment to the email.
I was gonna, is there any? So when I try to open your. The executive committee minutes. Used a different format and I just gotta. I tried it at home, not on this thing, and I really couldn't open it the way I could open your executive directorship. So that's just probably my lack of technical ability, but I.
Yeah, ours is okay, it depends.
So did you read it? Okay.
Did we get first, financials, which we got?
What would you guys feel comfortable with? Passing it around or actually deferring in this group? When we can actually allow copies to get back.
Well, we
Or
should.
maybe defer it since people.
We should-
It was, right? It was, yeah, it wasn't on the agenda last week.
Yeah.
But we can defer it. That's okay. It was a separate attachment, it's not in.
could you read what Susan said, they were gonna keep that on our list as well.
Yes, so what Stephen has just said is he was having a hard time opening one of the attachments that were linked in the agenda versus another one. He didn't know if there was a different format.
Whatever format you use for the executive report.
Yeah,
Works.
it's funny, 'cause it's the same format. I'm not sure.
All right, so what do you would like to defer?
Defer.
Let's defer, approve, and I personally will promise to be before. And hopefully everybody is. Jen, do you have a move, do you have a move? No, you have a motion from the Lorraine, is there any questions for Jen on the ROI report from Lorraine? Anything you want to highlight, Jen?
Just to say again, that Go Green was a huge success. I mean, if people, didn't get a chance to take a look at anything, I think one of the big standouts was just for the hike at the trailhead, there was at least 100 people, which is unbelievably, successful with respect to outreach. Lindsay's done a killer job. She got the Tree Canada grant, which, Rachel, correct me, was it $6,500 or $6,800?
Yeah.
It was a significant amount of money. They've already planted several, like literally over 50 or 60 trees downtown, this year, right? And that Lindsay is actually confident that we will plant at least 100, which is unbelievable, for our canopy downtown.
Where we see the trees.
They're all over.
Most of them are at the trailhead.
Yeah.
You know where the trailhead is? So most of them are at the trailhead.
And they're not like, all like maple trees or something, they're like huckleberries and all sorts of things that actually, make a more like cohesive canopy, for every type of growth. I mean, I'm the botanist like she is, but, that was amazing. So she'll be able to do a bunch of things.
Christina also planting a lot.
Yeah, so I don't know if anyone got a chance to walk down to the east end and see the planters. I know we've lost a few plants. But again, it's been a big success and Lindsay's got a lot of great feedback from it.
I've seen them planting.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
You walk the streetscape looks great, the beds are full, you don't see any of the styrofoam. You know, they're doing a really good job.
Yeah.
Type of plants, but it really made the selection a bit more like robust. It looks beautiful, like all different colors. And yeah, moving in the right direction.
And we're working hard to get the, like permanent planter quotes and everything, back from a variety of manufacturers so that we can actually plant actual trees, that can live in there for at least a couple of years, before they're potentially replanted somewhere in the downtown. And I'm trying to think what else we've done. We're still working on that.
I'll jump in quickly on
Yeah.
one, if that's okay. So, Lindsay recently was at a conference, which don't ask me what it stands for, but the OACECT conference, in Toronto, and did a collaboration with the city on that presentation. So again, about building those relationships and
Yes.
partnerships. So, really great job, and kudos to her for again doing another presentation, putting St. Catharines on the map in partnership with the city.
Awesome. The governance update, you're still working on the vision, but we actually have a couple of ones to bring to you to vote. Unfortunately, I just wasn't on top of it, because I've been off with my shoulder surgery. I'm back now and it almost looks a little bit. Before we get into the advocacy update, we would like to welcome Laura and Nez from Starting Up Niagara. And thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate that. And
I can tell mine.
that's okay.
We got pulled into something else with kind of the mail, so
We would love to hear what you guys run, where you're located, what your hours are, what you can, how you're assisting the downtown for.
So I brought you guys the program manager for our agency, I'm the executive director. She's gonna fill you in on the day-to-day stuff. I'll give you an overview of what we do, and then if there's any questions, Nan's gonna answer them for you directly. Basically what we do is we work with people that are facing issues of poverty, which include homelessness, substance use, unemployment, compromised mental health, food insecurity, and everything that comes under that umbrella. We have a resource center located at 203, which used to be our work action center. We're working on new signs, but apparently I want to work faster than the sign guy does. But our resource center is located right in front. At the back, we have our kitchen. To the side, we have the bike shop, biking app. And at the very back, we have a moral closet. So the resource center serves as, a space where everyone is welcome. We get, snacks during the day, there's warm buildings, with warm building, we're open to housed and unhoused individuals. We give them a place where we offer, workshops, meaningful activities, daily activities, to keep them occupied, things that keep their interest. The kitchen serves the weekend lunch program, so demographics in the community have changed a little bit. There's a lot of other agencies coming in and offering meals. And our kitchen coordinator realized that there was a potential for a lot of food waste. Martha, I always want to say West End. North End Church now is doing service at St. Barnabas on Saturdays. And they're offering clothing, hygiene supplies, and lunch. So it's forced us to change our direction a little bit. So what Pam and her volunteers do now is go to three. There are two buildings for sure. I think there might be a third building where they offer lunch to lower income seniors.
and they deliver the lunches to 3 specific Niagara Regional housing buildings. There's a school that she works with. There's some kids that have been identified as food insecure, coming from food insecure families. So on Friday, she offers lunches to one of the area schools. She's helped another school as well by ordering some food for them because the schools all need to run out of money for their food programs at the same time. So we're trying to ensure that we're working with people that are facing issues of poverty. The bike shop, this is their busy season. Basically what happens with Bike Me Up is Wayne and his volunteers receive bikes from the community bike donations. They refurbish the bikes and make them available to individuals as an alternate form of transportation. He offers the bikes for sale at $40, but I'm pretty sure he's been known to not pay people's $40 if revenue, if income is an issue for them. So it gives people alternate modes of transportation and also keeps bikes out of the landfill. So there is a bike that can't be repaired, they'll strip it and they'll use the parts that they can to refurbish another bike. Mobile closet. So mobile closet came on board, I want to say last year, April. Mobile closet is almost like a thrift shop on wheels, but there's no cost. So what they do is they do events throughout the region and they'll take their, I call it the ice cream truck. They get a little offended when I do that, but it opens up the side like the old fashioned ice cream trucks do. They're able to go to, they usually have about 30 events a year. They'll go to designated lower income neighborhoods and they'll bring other agencies with them. So the dental bus has been there, Salvation Army has been there. Pepsi. Pepsi. Oh, I heard Pepsi. I was like, oh my God, gang. Pepsi has been there, public health has been there. And every neighborhood that they go to, there's a group of partners that come as well to offer their services and make people aware of the services. If it's a designated area that they know there's going to be a lot of newcomers, they'll bring newcomer services with them and make sure that someone's on site to share information with them. At these events, they share, there's no cost for people to go shopping. They're called shopping events. And an example is, let's say someone comes to Canada, a newcomer comes to Canada and they know it's cold. They don't really know how cold it is. They'll make sure that they have winter appropriate coats, gloves, everything that they need to make sure that they can endure the winters. In the summer, in the fall, just prior to the fall, they'll offer school-age children clothing so they can go back to school. They also offer hygiene kits for families that are housed. They used to do food, but I think they stopped doing food, right? To the encampments. So then when we move over to the other building, we recently moved into the site of the old furniture bank. So what's happening is the back is under renovation, so that we can move it into there. We were recently defunded from by the region. So housing, we were anticipating that housing would move back there with us. They will not be with us. With the staff that we had in housing, we've continued to employ them in the resource center so that they can be a resource to individuals that come in and a referral source. At the front of 211, the old furniture bank building, we have our work action center, our employment program. We take walk-ins, we take people that are referred through OASD and work towards achievable employment for individuals. One of the things that we were talking about is how starting up. I know that there's an issue in the city, in the downtown core specifically, and it's widening a little bit with individuals, for lack of a better word, causing some disruptions and making some of the business owners upset because they're not sure how to manage the disruptions. And we spoke about how starting up would offer our services so that at least if, as a business owner, you're not always aware of the resources, like any nonprofit, you don't know what the nonprofit does until you're directly involved with them. So if we could offer our services and at least business owners can say, you know what, I can't help you, but here's a place where you can go and start me up, have some resources to help you out. That doesn't mean that they're gonna go, but it'll give business owners another, angle or more information as to how to move people. We can't be responsible for every individual in the city that's facing homelessness, poverty, but we can try to help people so that they don't feel like they're at their wit's end. And we also look at an education component. So if there are, so an example. On the weekend, my youngest daughter was in Niagara Falls. And, she was outside of a dollar store, at one of the dollar stores, and there was an individual just sitting there. And he wasn't bothering anyone, he wasn't panhandling, he was looking down and just sitting there. And someone walked past him and sat there. So, to me, that's heartbreaking. And it comes from not understanding, and not understanding the issues that people feel. And it just reinforces that as an agency, I think it's important for us to put that education piece in, because we know that people are frustrated. And primarily that's why we came to offer any insights that we can. But if you have any questions or anything that you'd like brought up, I'm willing to answer any questions at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, I did, but I didn't want to say that. I mean, that's available now.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, anybody has some questions?
Just as like a business owner, I think it's great that I'm just seeing this. And I think for me, I wouldn't know where to reach out. So I think having this kind of a resource, and I think someone that is recently unhoused might not know these resources, maybe they might have to follow for the internet. Is there, I mean, I guess we could probably get some of this loan out for our windows. I would love to put it on the business so that they would know where to reach out if they were doing
If something.
like this would be, so because it's a double, I don't have to, because this is like telling you if you're hungry or you need something, this is.
So you can probably do take two. So full disclosure, so this came from somewhere that I don't know, it's just both.
Okay.
Just because I've been working with them a lot and they've asked for something like this for a long time. So that's what the team is about. So starting out is on here, as you can see, through the drop-in services and also on the back for dinner services and Sunday lunch. So that's why I wanted to kind of start and more items to come. So you go to base to the who you're referring to. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with where starting is, but literally you probably don't have the MP's office, but it's office. If you just continue walking, down Church Street, like literally 5 minutes, you will see that. So it's super close to our downtown, very local distance. And oftentimes I'll meet people in and out of town, maybe struggling, for example, with a guy a couple months ago, maybe, if you please. And he had a big problem with life, and I said, are you okay? You know, do you need help? He had some challenges. Research a lot of our community members to use, so they need help with us to be aware of others.
So Rachel, why would he have gone there for that reason? Like just to get help, not for that?
Well, I think he said he would, yeah, maybe you have nurse practitioners.
We have nurse practitioners that offer their services. This is meds. This is why I'm answering this. We have nurse practitioners.
I think it's good for the business owners to have knowledge of this, right? Because I wouldn't.
We have to have great medical support. We have at least 3 days a week, someone medical on site. We have a medical room. Other than the nurse, we recently have Reach Clinic joining us, and there's a GP, family doctor who's there. And she comes once a week. The nurse is there once a week. We have EMS, the outreach EMS coming in. And a lot of the clients actually need wound care, so all three of them are kind of able to help, on sites to do that kind of care for them. We also have mental health through Reach, and, she's a counselor, she comes twice a week. And she does a lot for not just the drop-in center clients, it's housed clients through our previous housing program or employment clients, especially newcomers who come and they don't have any medical supports yet, they can come there. Any one of those medical practitioners would be able to help, so you're welcome to send anybody over.
Yeah. Because I mean, we do, like in our business, we have an area where there's some inexpensive footwear. And we have quite a few unhoused coming into our store. And I would love to be able to share this. Because I think a lot of them, they probably do already know, but I think for me to be like, you need to get that sorted in there, like go there, or just build up more conversation.
Right.
Yeah, love it. Thank you.
So we started questions about the business owners. Do you start to add an open house for like business people so that they could start to.
We're waiting for our other building to be completed, because then we'll do it all or else we'd be having a grand opening every week. So we're trying to wait for that other building so that people can go between the both. People are welcome to come whenever they want. We don't stop individuals from coming.
Yeah, my idea is there's a hesitancy to, and I think unfortunately you're gonna have to.
Oh, yeah.
It's chaos. I mean, some days it's chaos. We're not gonna lie about it. But I think because Starting Up has been able to build a rapport with the individuals that visit us, it's important, if you can come with someone like Karen or let us know that you're coming, we would gladly walk you through. And it's intimidating for people once they first come into that environment. But you quickly realize that it's just people that need help, right? They just don't know how to verbalize it. Maybe they don't present as well as they should, or they don't have the words. Important. Right, so people don't feel that you're gonna feel that intimidation no matter what, the first time you come through, but we hope to ease it a little bit.
It's also from the client's perspective, when we've had visitors in smaller numbers, it seems to be a bit more acceptable, if I may say so. Because if it's a larger group of people and they clearly don't look like they're outreach workers or social workers or part of this kind of sector, I think it intimidates the client and makes them feel very uncomfortable. But I definitely think you're right, we should have some sort of a visit or a tour or something so that other businesses know.
So business people have a base.
Yeah.
To the agency? Yeah.
Is it reasonable to ask a representative from Starting Up come into our business and speak to 10 or 15 employees and educate them better than we have?
It's definitely reasonable. I think that's definitely a very reasonable ask. I do think there's a different aspect when the business owner or the employees come to the site. We can talk about it as much as we can, but it's really different when you see it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose I could make it be difficult to get
Absolutely.
And it depends on the staff person, right? Every staff person, everyone has a different comfort level.
So thinking, like the group comfort level.
You can do it in a staggered. I mean, we can come and speak to your staff and open up that invitation so that they can come and
I think as owners, as we go, I don't think that we can trickle down if this is something that we need to like share with people.
Yeah.
And another option too, I'm assuming you guys are welcome to volunteers. You know, even if your staff wanted to do a day volunteering for an hour.
And how would we volunteer? Like, what would we do?
So generally, we tell people to go through our info at Start Me Up Niagara email address. You can find it on our website. And then that connects you with volunteer coordinator. If you're looking at volunteering as a group, you just have to be very, we have to be very mindful of, how many people are coming in at a time, because then the ratios are off. And there's only so much, you don't want people just standing around and feeling awkward, right? So there's only so many positions to fill. Mobile Closet will gladly take volunteers on as well. With Bike Shop, you need more of a specialized.
You have skill sets.
Yeah, you need to, when they showed me the manual, I just thought you inflated tires, but apparently there's a lot more to it. And then there's the garden, which I forgot to mention last year, and this year. We have 2.5 staff members at the garden that run a 2-acre farm that's donated from Vineland Research. The food that's grown last year, I believe they grew 9,000 pounds of food, and it was distributed to other nonprofits, including the Ukrainian refugees, community care, Bethesda. We use some of it. We have a pop-up market. We have a pay what you can kiosk market where people can have access to fresh fruits and vegetables. The garden grows vegetables, and sometimes Vineland Research will donate fruit, so it's giving access to individuals that might not have access to fresh fruit and vegetables. And it's pay what you can, so it's not a set. If you can only pay 50 cents, you can only pay 50 cents. And it gives you, the individual, a sense of, I paid for this, instead of just shooting charity. When you come in the fall, there's way too many squash. But the food is also offered to our center, so the center will use that food to do the weekend lunch program. And I believe last year they benefited 20 other agencies across the region. So for 2 acres, they were able to quite broadly and make sure that people have that. So there's also volunteer opportunities at the farm.
Sometimes those volunteers are our clients as well. We'll have Tony, who works at the farm. Tony's very he's with the clients all the time, and he has such great skills that he takes the clients with him. We have a van that he'll drive over to the farm, and they'll spend hours working on the farm, and everything is just it's just something that's therapeutic for certain clients. And on the other side, at the drop-in center, we try every day to have at least 2 activities to give people a sense of purpose and something to do and everything. And we do need lots of volunteers for that, as well as the farm, because of how big it is. But the volunteer opportunities are quite vast. There's a lot.
Question?
For the farm, I'm sorry, this is just like, but for the farm, do they have any access to like a dehydrator or anything like that? Because I know I volunteer in Smithville, and a lot of the extra stuff that the farmers do have, we cut out, there's a dehydrator, and then, so they have fresh fruit and veg for like the final season, that they can just put in water. We don't have enough leftover food. Okay. So we have the separate spot. Yeah, large. Okay. We have this common event thing. It's like it's a big stand up. I call it an oven, but it has the ability to dehydrate. We're talking about, we're just in the talking stages right now of doing workshops for individuals to teach them how to cook on a budget. So it's like a stage. So the first week might be food safety, health and safety, which includes, I mean, wearing gloves, washing your hands, hair tie, knife safety, that kind of thing. And getting into, we don't know how many sessions it would be, but eventually getting to a point where they can make their own meals on a budget. Right? That's one of the most critical things, right? People, you get vegetables, people know what to do.
Yes. Right. And Pam is pretty skilled. I mean, she can make some amazing meals with whatever Tony brings in. So we're hoping that she can share that knowledge so that people, and give them recipe cards. She's put recipe cards together for individuals so that she'll combine the ingredients for them. Kind of like that, what's that, you know, that they deliver the food, they do.
Or something.
What is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, but not that cost. Right, so she'll put it together for individuals so that if they're housed, I mean, there's people that are quite creative that are unhoused that
That's a great idea.
can hook out a weekend.
Like they put everything in the book and then.
Yeah, so that's something that we're working on, but we have to be out of the building, so once we're able to take staff, because now we're kind of working on each other in the other building is ready. We just know what it will look like.
Yeah, if you don't mind, say, I was just thinking about doing a bit of a communication, but I'd like to.
Yeah, of course, yeah, of course. So because we ran out, I didn't bring any business cards, didn't bring any brochures, brought nets. But,
You guys.
yeah, we were, she's more than willing to, but you can connect with Rachel and she can give you my contact, and you might already have it, but. If you can connect, you're free to share my, do not phone, because we're never sitting at a desk. Email is usually the best way to, get in touch with us, but absolutely, yeah, if we can help to support. Anne loves to be able to feed people, she loves to be able to share the food she has.
Yes, I think at some point, a few months ago with St. Barnabas, we had, either we had.
There's a market.
Yeah, there was a bit of a market and she came up with a small package of specific ingredients that St. Barnabas had, and we topped it with something else, and she put together a recipe and how to make it or something like that. So I absolutely would like to collaborate more.
We do a pop-up market, right?
I think that's where she came to pop up and then she had those, you know.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for raising order.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
It's very exciting, if you want to come, I'm telling you, it's very exciting.
We were all trying to incorporate it into this day, but, we weren't sure how long the board meeting is gonna be and so forth, so.
Yeah, if you want to coordinate something, you want to bring Rich over, absolutely, I'll make sure to get you some pamphlets as well. But thank you for having me. Huh?
We could stand there.
Yeah. You're staying Thank you so much, I'm proud.
Thank you. It'll be fine.
Thanks. Just a couple? Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, that's. So like 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry.
All right, let's see you guys, thank you.
Something that I think will help is, do one of the out, do a walk around the neighborhood to see all the different things that are available for folks. Kind of what's happening there.
Is that concrete to leave on here?
Yeah.
That would be
All the time. And that way it's just a little less.
I'd like to have knowledge, right? And to be able to share with people.
I think people are pretty interested, grasp, but it's over 6 kilometers walking to have breakfast and dinner. Or 6 to 8 kilometers. Just to get it every day. It's not, that's what all people.
Yeah.
Any other questions about what is my area, or when I'm interested in that, or any other, just please let me know. But really just a visual of the area would be really helpful. So, if you see new graffiti, if you see a broken window, if you see someone moving in, if you see a for sale sign, any of that kind of stuff, we can really look at and just practice on the street, and helps us be quicker to respond to those things. These are also really useful, guides, sorry, I didn't really get to introduce them, but, I've been having numerous meetings with, who the staff, did a fantastic job of putting them together and making drops some physical copies of, and that's all I have access too. It's not 400. That's okay, we're working with physical copies. So, I think you would like some, no, these could be great to hand out too, if you really want to go in and meet people in your blog. It could be a great soft opening, if I'm still on board for the beginning. This is just great, great resource to use chat. So if you want an extra, let me know. If you are really into business to drop off, just let me know, so I don't find us and do it.
So are these buildings pop off applications that are serving people? Because we quite often get questions from new people to them, and new people are all working on lunch. So like, if these individual applications have this kind of applications, they do, but not always volunteers.
Yeah, good question. I don't have contracts that everybody lives here. Like I said, that would put together, I'm very grateful for. So, yeah, if probably want to take it in board, staff associations, then let us know. It is really a good resource, if you see someone in need or someone comes in asking for something, and you're not able to help, it's a good one to just start, go get it stuff.
I mean, this is a great start, and education, I think, is probably one of the most viable tools to manage some of the challenges, especially on the business side, when you have staff and others trying to figure out how to, not necessarily train, how to defuse that type of stuff, but if there's, we get to a point where we give a new business a package or something, or have access, this current business have access to some sort of information package. Because I mean, there's a lot. I mean, diffusing versus like, how do you know somebody? How do you deal with some medical situations, naloxone training? It wasn't until we dedicated 3/4 of the day, the whole staff came in, had many different organizations come in and went through all the training, and it really gave like our staff who aren't necessarily used to some of the situations, gave you confidence to how to handle. Also, the verbiage is huge. If you just call 911 and say a couple of, if you don't describe a situation in which they hear certain action words, they'll just push you, or they won't take, they won't send personnel. So even having the right verbiage, when you call it some of the things, understanding that 211 is an answering service, is not an emergency service, little things like that really kind of enable businesses to operate. And yeah, I mean, we have numbers coming in like the OS guys who are spending a big amount of money, and their staff coming from Niagara Lake. They're a pretty big staff, I would say 30 or more. And none of them are used to dealing with downtown and some of the challenges. So they were right off about like a little bit kind of, oh my goodness, who do I speak to? Can I need to make some connections and understanding how we deal with some of these situations, and having a package effectively we can get into and say, here's all this, how you approach. I don't know if we can get to a point where this training, but definitely, I mean, that would, it helps, combat some challenges.
So if I may, so we're actually looking at doing some kind of de-escalation training, so one thing when we do our research for it, was identified was that in order for staff to go, they should be paid to go. And this we have capacity to pay their staff to go. So we were in partnership with John Armstrong. And our strategy, we're looking at funding sources to get grants, pay staff to go, and then CDA trainers to come as well. Unfortunately, the couple streams we've gone after the grants just declined us. But we're still trying for sure on that review. Obviously, we're going to get those, they were at the table with the get-go, really providing that feedback, so we will make sure that all works for our businesses. So it's definitely something that we've explored. It's just getting them to go alongside it, it's a huge challenge.
Yeah, it's tough. I definitely see that challenge. How we can pitch it. Taking if you have staff, you can easily make a business case that you spend an hour or 2 hours training your staff on how to manage some of these challenges. Not only will they minimize the challenges for the business, in turn, be able to control the day, focus on your profitability. But the second piece is that when, you know, oftentimes as a downtown business owner, you hear lots of negative from the outside who don't really necessarily understand it. They become advocates for it. But, oh my God, there's so many needles. Well, you know, actually, we have cleanup crews that are monthly and, you know, which want to volunteer. They're really cool. You get to understand how to, how it works and all people that are working in the background. And if somebody who's just able to spend 3-4 sentences taking that negative, and turning it into, oh my goodness, a little educational and would do X, Y, Z to combat the problem, it moves the challenge in the right direction. And as a business owner, I'm sure we can make the case for them, like, everybody's going to understand that, and once you understand it, you're maybe 2 hours.
On the team is trying to organize it because John, so that's John, we needed somebody who's willing to just kind of voice that and see how we can actually make it. I just thought it was
Just a question. Going on, that has really been.
Yeah.
I can even help with that.
Because I think this is a larger project, and I think it would be offered to several different times to make sure that
Oh,
it
okay.
actually is successful for folks, but that is part of the plan, absolutely.
Okay. It just seems to work for these, so that the members are a little bit more engaged.
Yeah. There is a lot of de-escalation being out there, but it is nice, I think, the nice thing about sometimes having in person is you build a relationship and you also can ask questions. But when there's a video of someone kind of talking at you, you're not able to say, why did this experience? How do you handle it? What should I do? And it makes it put it in their terms so they can then go back and really cover it.
It's also much more relevant when you're talking about our downtown.
Yeah.
Not like some random place in another part of the world. Yeah.
Do we have a question online, Pat?
No, we just had ours in cutout.
And that,
It's back.
yay. That's wonderful. So yeah, let's, maybe we'll give a bit of an update and explore maybe on that. And I will tell you one of the best resources is Chocolate Bread and Mountain.
Yeah, he's so.
Even that person's the executive director of the have to.
How does she,
What?
how does she do?
How, okay, what was the ground people doing for all this? My God.
It was good, yeah, there was a lot of people there, I feel like I stole mine a little bit, but I really. I also mentioned about, you know, more grants need to be available for community events, like Holy yesterday. We got no government grants for that, right? We would love to get grants, but we're typically never eligible because we're not a incorporated not-for-profit. So lots of different things were brought up. Clearly, I keep talking, you can see why I stole the mic, because I don't shut up. But it was good.
That's what we pay you for.
Well, you're in the mix. You definitely hear it from all different sides, so.
It helps that I chair the advocacy committee for BI, so I hear from BIs across the province. Because then it really helps me kind of have my finger on the pulse to see, is it just here or is it everywhere?
Yeah.
And it's often everywhere. Everywhere that's urban is facing similar.
Amy.
There seems to be an issue with, I understand that there's an issue with homelessness and stuff, but there's also a huge issue with people working from home still. And not actually filling our control, like, cause that's when we would have traffic, and traffic brings more traffic. That's just like anything, right? Everyone thinks there's something going on, so they come.
Yeah.
So I mean, I understand that some of those buildings that are empty are more federal. We were talking to the mayor about that, but that would be huge for any downtown core is to have people starting to work again. Downtown.
And live.
And like,
That is beautiful. I mean, I think that that's coming, but I think that just working.
so the one thing that I'm trying to push, and it's a little bit later on the agenda, but is for more supports, as Sharvin and Stephen both know on the advocacy committee, is second floor residential being filled. We have a lot of vacancy in our second floor residential in our downtown, and we're not the only one. There are some downtowns that have over 60% vacancy in their second floor residential. We have a building literally across the street, 27 units, completely empty, has been for years. Like, that's criminal to me. And you know, we want location in downtown is where it's gonna happen,
Yes.
so that's gonna take years.
Yeah.
We could have these spaces filled in months, maybe years with the permit, but, you know.
But I think a lot of it is like pushback. I know a lot of people that, just got the chance to work from home, have then moved. So they're just saying, no, we're not.
Yeah,
But we have a housing crisis and we have homes where people can work at that are downtown.
Yes.
But I think my sense is that it's gonna be a slow change, but I think businesses are forcing their staff back because this bullshit about them being efficient at home, it's bullshit.
Actually, I've heard it's been exactly the opposite from data that I've gotten, so.
Yeah.
Let's see how.
So even,
2 to 3 jobs.
so even Rogers, so Rogers, at the beginning of the pandemic, sent them, obviously, their people had to go home. They had an 80% increase in output within 3 months.
Jen, you're part of the downtown. You
And
have people to come back.
No, and I'm not saying that,
So
but if you study
Just gonna pull us back to
infrastructure,
this.
yeah, but there has been an error with respect to how they've built a lot of the cities. We are not supposed to just solely depend on businesses and companies to fill buildings. We're supposed to incorporate residential
Yeah.
and schools and other things at the same time. And that's part of the struggle that downtown Toronto is dealing with now, because many of these condo units have been built for Airbnbs or very, very temporary living conditions. If you actually look at the amount of residences we don't really have a crisis. We have a crisis of the appropriate units available because they haven't been built properly, or the area hasn't been built up properly, in an urban capacity.
So hosting the next OBM meeting, board meeting here,
yes,
where are you hosting it?
don't know.
How many?
There's about 15, and it includes ministry liaisons too.
Just because of our downtown members, is it maybe worth reaching out to Excel North?
We could do,
They have
yeah,
beautiful board meetings groups as well. They
yeah,
we don't really seem to talk to them very often.
yeah, yeah. So the challenge is sometimes budget. So as a host, we're supposed to provide the space. So that's where I'm like, what can we get for free before I look
Is the
at.
library an option?
Oh, yeah, the
Potentially,
library.
yeah. They in the past have charged us, but with our new MOU, I might have included that we get space.
15
Right.
people, the city
Yeah.
committee.
Yeah, so the city could be another option for sure too. So I think they're where I'm gonna reach out to. I also go to the GNCC. So I think there's a couple of options.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. And you want help from us?
Good luck getting sponsors, please.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be my main one.
Excellent. Any other questions for Rachel on the director's report? Can I have a motion to accept the reports as presented?
Sure.
All right, thanks, Steven. Seconders, and Joe, let's pop Joe, we haven't been on there yet. Anybody against? Anybody opposed? Seeing none, approved, moving on, new business.
So this is the one I kind of was hinting at earlier. So OBIA has put into delegated AMO.
What is it, AMO?
AMO, sorry, Association of Association of
Municipalities.
Thank you, Municipalities of Ontario, kept wanting to say ministries. So this conference is huge, there's usually typically around 3,000 plus councillors, mayors from across Ontario that go, along with the ministers. So not just the liaisons, the actual ministers. So OBIA has requested a delegation with Paul Calandra, who is the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. So our pitch is on the Municipal Act that OBIA has been working on getting rewritten in terms of BIA specifically. The reasoning being is our mandate as BIAs under that act is very dated. may have someone on our staff who has put together some really short snippet videos. If you want to know more about why that act should be updated, there's many, many reasons. So we're hoping to delegate to them directly to say why, and share some other things like maybe second floor residentials and stuff like that. The challenge is this conference is not cheap, so, and it's in Ottawa. So we would potentially, and we're still waiting to hear back. If we get approval to delegate, that would be the only reason I could go, if that is the will of the board. Not a requirement, I don't have to go. But there is an invite there. So again, if we delegate, I don't know if we have to pay to attend the conference. That's why there is a big cost gap. So it's either $800 or $2,500. So because we don't know if we have to pay for the conference fee to attend to delegate, basically.
So who's gonna pay? Is that for?
That would-
your
that would-
organization to pay?
Come from us.
Must not be.
OB, I have no idea, no.
So I think we need to know, how fast do you need to know, and when will we know the actual amount?
There's flexibility. We'll probably not find out till late July is my guess, if our delegation has been approved. So there's some flexibility. It just could be helpful to get the approval, like if we were to word a motion, if the delegation is approved, the board give permission up to this amount to be spent. If we find that.
I mean, $800 or $2,500, are you not staying the night?
Yes, I think the $800 is one room night and the train fees.
One room night? Are you kidding me? There's no way that costs one night and a train.
I think I did, roughly, yeah.
No, I mean, like, isn't it way more?
In Ottawa is usually pretty high.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, even us looking for hotels, I can't find one for under $500.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's really expensive, like even just to go to a decent place.
I stayed in Toronto with a suite for $210,
Okay.
like right by Queens Park.
Thanks.
All
Yeah, I
right.
think the hotel
I
is
can book for you.
Okay,
like 250, 290, something like that.
okay.
So.
I think it's a great idea. I mean,
I think it's amazing, yeah.
yeah, I mean, isn't that why we're doing all this hard work and sponsorships and everything I mean, look at all the sponsorships that we've got in the last 2 years. Education has been key. Every time you guys have learned something new, it has paid dividends exponentially. Like, I feel that it would be really important.
And we can wait if we want to sit on this, because I will be like, won't lie, I did kind of sneak it on the agenda because I only found out last Friday about it.
Would you be the lead delegate?
In partnership with Kay Matthews, who's the executive director for OBIA.
Oh, that's okay.
So the chair and the, yeah, so you'd be right up there.
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like it behooves us to do it.
yeah.
Yeah,
We just have to figure out how to pay to get you there.
Yeah,
In principle, I think everybody's supportive, it's just.
it's just where the money
fair-
comes from.
fair disparity.
Totally.
We do.
Mhm.
So why don't I put a motion in that says that the board are supportive of Rachel to attend the AMO conference, providing
So,
the delegation is approved and up to, do we want to limit dollar amounts for now? Because it doesn't have to go to 2,500. Like I could do
Where does the 25?
the 2,500 comes from 2 hotel nights, just because I don't know when we would be delegating. So for example, the train fare is all night or all day, sorry. And I just don't know if we have to like delegate on 2 days or if it's 1 day. So it would be 2 hotel stays and then the conference space. basically.
which we may have to pay, may not have to pay.
So that's enough.
Could your motion just say ending understanding my cost or something like
Yeah.
that?
Approved, ending clarification on expenses. Okay, so just to read it back, the board are supportive of Rachel to attend the AMO conference, providing delegate is approved pending clarification on expenses.
Make that impressed it.
Who would like to move that?
Oh, I don't.
And so we'll do Joe and Jen. Joe and Jen.
Were there any?
Is there anyone opposed? Seeing none, you are good.
Is there a way? The open floors, like, when I was in St. John, New Brunswick, we spent hours and hours and hours talking about open floors, and it's still the same. Is there a way that we could put a video together or something that talks about the economic benefits of video, upper floors, what the obstacles are, even 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever? Because it is a huge issue and an unbelievable opportunity.
Mhm.
In my experience, though, the issues are building code. That's the problem. And so maybe there's need some research or something into how to get whatever they need.
Yeah,
They're starting to talk about buildings with only one stair in kind of urban areas, like one access, and that building could now requires two. You know, there's talk about that, which would help downtowns. Anyway, that was just, I don't know what's possible there. I go over to.
yeah,
Start.
his cat would be the superstar to do that. It's just capacity is the challenge.
Yeah.
And it's extremely over capacity.
Maybe reaching out to another, maybe there are other VIAs thinking about this.
Oh, completely. I mean, it's on the advocacy agenda for OPIA constantly. We talk about it. Yeah. I like the idea of a video. Jen?
Yeah. So, sorry, I think that Stephen, that's a great idea. And I really think, like, do we have, when I look up our videos for the board meetings, they just come up and I click on it. Do we have like a YouTube page for the Downtown Association? Okay, so I've just never gone to it. Now, I think that what Stephen's talking about, like, not only like mentioning it earlier, but that would be such an incredible resource for anyone downtown. Like, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out the accessible washroom stuff. I'm reading things like crazy, it's cuckoo bananas, like, I don't even know what to say. But if we had something like that, and again, too, like, Stephen deals with the city all the time. I don't know where these magical papers are that they have, that they're making decisions with, but if we're able to get some of the stuff on video and people can look at it, not only is it great for the YouTube channel, but I think it would be literally an invaluable resource for anything St. Catharines.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that we're the Downtown Association, but I mean, technically, if you did any of those videos, they would apply to the city, which would be great.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I think there's a lot of benefit to the city for putting together the videos, but
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I just think we'd have crazy high engagement.
It's not clean cut though, you know, it's very tough to like put a video. We saw this when we did the meeting for the building permits, like it's, you can say the process, but it's like very, you know, situational and also interpretation of the person who's doing the file.
Right.
Sometimes it can go one way or the other, even though you come in with all your T's crossed and your I's dotted. After review and even final reviews, they may find something that they missed 2 reviews ago, and then it's just it's a hard thing to put together.
I think it might be advantageous in this sense that you're starting somewhere. Like, I'm sure, like, when I did a lot of projects, most of my clients didn't even know what they were asking for. Right? And that was probably the number one thing that I noticed. So I'm sure just like Stephen, who's consulting all the time, or you in real estate, where people don't even know how to get to the permit department. They don't even know what to do. Like stuff that might just be a little bit more clear cut. I'm not saying to get in the weeds, but like even talking about.
That really does sound like a city thing.
You'd think that it would be city, but the city also is not really focused on the education.
Yes.
Like they expect you to hire your own professionals. I mean, I get it. Not, I don't want to say that the city's not being helpful because they have a lot of things that they're managing.
Yeah.
It's just, someone comes in and they really don't have any insight of what the process is. It's a slow,
We're looking for an idiot's guide to navigating the.
yeah, almost something like that, yeah, where it's kind of like a blanket approach, and I think we're working on that, like with the 2-floor thing, and then the
Yeah.
city did the permit thing, that's a start. We're trying to get to that place, but I often figured, like, I thought it would have become a lot more mainstream, but at the end of the day, it's very challenging, it's not very clean cut. Every property is different, every setback is like, it's just, and
So I. The reason for OBA and the province is to drop the pebble in the pond, for the province to see this as an economic opportunity. Our building department ain't gonna solve this stuff.
yeah.
You need somebody, the province to say, hey, we've got $10 million worth of economic opportunity here.
Yes.
What do we need to do to grab?
Yeah.
And for sure.
I'm sure it's
That's
been-
why that's support. But is money being left on the table?
It is, and I think at the end of the day, it's just planting that seed. People might not even realize that they have an upper unit that someone might love or to live in or to have another business in, and they're just not even thinking about it as an option. They just need a little bit of a bump.
I think though too, like, as a business owner, I think there's a little bit of fear, right? If you have a spot up, commercial leasing is different than residential leasing.
Yeah.
And so residential leasing is very hard on a business, but if it doesn't work out, it's not a great relationship, but your business is still there. Commercial, so I think that is a lot of it, is like probably maybe misinformation, maybe misguidance, not understanding what is, because I'm in that situation now, and it's like, what do we do? Right? You want to make sure you're making all the right choices, and that's why you're trying to reach out. So I mean, I think
So I
that
think we've identified an opportunity here, an opportunity for advocacy and an opportunity maybe to help some folks.
Yeah, I think that Stephen's right, it probably would be safer or better to do it provincial wide as opposed to, the challenge and the thing that we have to remember as a BIA is our members are also property owners. So the property owner that has the unit with 27 units across the street, great example to use, but could I do that on a video and call out one of our members? Like, so we walk a very fine line is to, yes, I would love to see people living in that space. I'm sure they would too, but there's reasons they don't. And it's very hard for us to articulate that in a video and share their side of the story. So I think that's why it's safer to do it for a higher level and pitch it. And I have tried
Which is
pitching
more
it.
reasons to give you $2,500 to go do that.
Yeah. sure.
but also too, even giving businesses grants to be able to develop their site,
Yeah.
or have that opportunity, could just even getting it into a residential way could be very expensive.
Totally.
All right, we are a little bit off track, but it's good stuff for the advocacy group. All right, do we have any other new business before we,
Yeah, Joe.
Question, could Rachel give us an update on where we're at with the city with Heritage District?
Not much of an update, if I'm honest with you. We have a meeting on Thursday evening with the steering committee. So that is the first, there's no changes, there's no updates until then, really.
Did our association have any input with the city with regard to getting them to the point of doing the $250,000 study?
The study was a council decision.
So we didn't participate, so that was.
We don't get a say really on that.
Is it our councilors that initiated that?
I think it was initiated by maybe city staff, I'm not sure. So
Yeah, I think so.
It's a little bit of background. So this came about because of Bill C-23, I think it was. There was a bill that really encompassed everything, including, you may remember, the taking of the grain belt. So this bill had a lot of components to it, including losing the ability for heritage buildings to be on a list and stay on a list until the city had time to fully designate them. And so by being on this list, it meant that the city had the ability, if a developer came in and said, you know what, I want to knock this building down. The city could then turn around and say, oh, quickly, let's designate it so they can't knock the building down, because that should be heritage, and we just never had the staff to put it over to heritage. The city lost that capability for some good reasons, to be honest with you. It just to blind them that way. So this is province-wide. So what we saw as a ripple effect of this is the majority of municipalities who did not have a downtown heritage district suddenly flipped and said, okay, we don't have time to go through the hundreds of properties that we have on that list to see who needs to be designated or not. Because remember, even in our city, we have one staff in heritage. There's no way he could do that beside of his desk. So a lot of the municipalities clicked their fingers and said, we'll do a heritage district. Some did studies, some didn't. Most did public consultation. So I think what our city did was basically following that tidal wave, so to speak, to do a study first, which I'm grateful for, and not do a blanket district.
Well, and there was a huge session at the Market Square.
Yeah.
For anyone to go and get information and find out all the, stuff about it. So, and input.
But it seems like, and I'm just only reading like on social and people that are writing stuff, is there's a lot of pushback on it, wanting.
There is, yeah, which is why, yeah, it's good that it wasn't a blank, like a quick switch that they did.
We're just trying to get into it, and, we've been in a very hard market for insurance for more than 10 years, and I've never, hard markets usually last 4 or 5 years.
Mhm.
And, the insurance company is saying that there's very, very few carriers that will even consider your business, your property, if you're designated heritage.
But the actual case studies with the city, when they have had a heritage building, the city has actually sent a letter saying that it's not like Niagara on the Lake heritage.
It's going to be,
It's gonna be more like, no.
So I think before we kind of get off, what we're looking for is we don't have,
Yeah.
but we will get one
Yeah.
after Thursday.
And it's-
Thursday night, we have several people on the steering committee.
Yeah.
And like you say,
So let's wait and see what we
So
hear.
we could.
And be involved in the process.
Yeah, absolutely be involved with the process. It is very enlightening with respect to heritage when you become involved in the process. A lot of stuff is either hearsay or is dispelled quite quickly. In my opinion, it's a brilliant idea.
So we'll
Yeah.
find out more.
Have they green lighted the 250 though? That's been on the study?
This study was,
Yeah.
the consultants came here and presented,
Yeah.
right? So that was, yeah.
All right. Can I call for someone to adjourn? Thank you, Jen. Second, Amy, we're gone.